Hey friends, today I'm going to share with you a powerful story that has the potential to change the way you think, the way you act, and maybe even the way you live your life. It's a story about resilience, patience, and staying focused in the face of overwhelming challenges. So, take a deep breath, settle in, and listen carefully, because this story might just be the turning point you need in your life. By the end of it, you'll realize that sometimes the solutions to our biggest problems come not from running away from them, but from staying calm and focused. Once upon a time, deep in the heart of a dense forest, there was a deer. She was wandering aimlessly, desperately searching for water. The heat was unbearable, and her thirst was growing stronger with each passing moment. For hours, she had been roaming from one corner of the jungle to another, but there was no sign of water anywhere. Her legs were growing tired, her body was weak, and her hope was fading. Finally, utterly exhausted, the deer stopped under a large tree. Her breath was heavy, her eyes tired. She had almost given up hope when, out of nowhere, she heard something, a faint sound in the distance. The sound of flowing water. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be? Was there really water nearby? The deer, with renewed energy, got up and followed the sound. Every step brought her closer to the source. And then, after a short walk, she saw it. A wide, sparkling river stretched out before her. In that moment, she felt as if life itself had given her another chance. She had found the water she had been searching for. Her heart filled with joy as she rushed toward the river, eager to quench her thirst. But as soon as she bent down to drink, something caught her eye. To her right, just a few meters away, stood a hunter. He was still, his bow drawn tight, and his arrow aimed directly at her. The deer froze in fear. But that wasn't all. In the very next moment, her eyes darted to the left, where she spotted something even more terrifying. A lion, crouching low behind some bushes, his sharp eyes fixed on her. He was ready to attack at any second. As if things couldn't get worse, the deer heard a crackling sound behind her. She turned her head slightly and saw flames. The forest was on fire, and the fire was creeping closer and closer toward her. The deer found herself in the most terrifying situation imaginable. In front of her was the river, too wide to swim across. To her right, the hunter stood, bow in hand, ready to strike. To her left, the lion was prepared to pounce. And behind her, the fire was getting nearer, threatening to engulf everything in its path. What could she possibly do? Most animals in her position would have panicked, run aimlessly, or even resigned themselves to their fate. But this deer did something different. She took a moment to pause. She thought to herself, "I'm surrounded by danger on all sides. Death seems certain. But why should I waste the few moments I have left in panic? I came here to drink water, and drink I shall." So the deer calmly bent her head toward the water and began to drink. She didn't know what would happen next. She just knew that she had come here for a reason, and she was going to complete that task. As she drank, something miraculous began to unfold. Dark clouds suddenly appeared in the sky, and within moments, rain started to pour down. The rain quickly extinguished the fire that had been creeping toward her. At the same time, the hunter, distracted by the sudden downpour, lost his focus. His arrow missed its target and struck the lion instead. The wounded lion, enraged, turned toward the hunter and leaped at him. In the chaos that followed, both the hunter and the lion disappeared into the forest. The deer, unaware of the storm of events around her, continued drinking the water until her thirst was completely quenched. Then, lifting her head, she looked around in amazement. The fire was out. The hunter was gone. The lion had vanished. She was safe. Moral of the story. This story teaches us a profound lesson about life. Just like the deer, we all face moments in our lives where it feels like we are surrounded by problems from every side. Financial difficulties, personal struggles, health issues. When these problems come, they often come all at once, making us feel trapped and hopeless. It's in these moments that most people lose their way. They panic, they become overwhelmed, and they forget what they were working toward. But what we often fail to realize is that sometimes The best thing we can do in the face of chaos is to stay calm and focus on the task at hand. The deer could have tried to run from the hunter or the lion. She could have panicked and jumped into the river, but instead she chose to focus on what she had control over, drinking the water. And because she stayed calm, the universe worked in her favor. Similarly, in our lives, when we are surrounded by problems, we need to remember that panicking won't solve anything. Instead, we need to stay focused on what we can control. Even if it feels like the world is crumbling around you, keep working toward your goal. Trust that things will fall into place, even when it seems impossible. This story reminds us that the storms of life will pass, and often they leave behind something beautiful. You may be just a step away from success, but if you allow fear to take over, you may never reach it. Stay calm, stay focused, and keep doing what you came here to do. The challenges you face will eventually pass, and when they do, you'll realize how much closer you've come to achieving your dreams. Conclusion. I hope this story has given you something to think about. Life is full of challenges, and sometimes those challenges seem impossible to overcome. But no matter how tough things get, remember the deer in the forest. Even when surrounded by danger, she stayed focused on her goal, and because of that, she survived. So the next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, take a deep breath, stay calm, and focus on what you can control. Don't let the chaos of life distract you from your path. If you keep your eyes on your goal, one day the world will stop and take notice of you. Thank you for listening, and remember, when life gets tough, just keep moving forward, because your breakthrough might be closer than you think. This extended version not only draws the audience in with vivid details and suspense, but also offers a deeper, more relatable message that encourages reflection. The slow build-up and repetition of key themes help maintain engagement throughout.